Over the past 5 years, I have bartered my filmmaking skills in exchange for free experiences and items worth over $10,000. In the process, I've gained valuable skills in the art of filmmaking, negotiating, and grown my professional network in sectors I had never thought to work in before. In this video, I'm going to break down my exact process for bartering so that you can do it too. I'll go over why you should barter, what services, experiences, and items are great options for bartering, who to reach out to, how to frame your cold emails, how to negotiate a fair exchange of value, and how to generate professional leads beyond the barter. And stick around for the end where I'll offer my top tip to make sure your barters do not go wrong. Hey everyone, if you're new here, my name is Austin Meyer. I'm a documentary filmmaker, National Geographic Explorer, and on this channel I share the field-tested skills, mindsets, and lessons that have helped me on my journey as a documentary filmmaker. One of the skills that has helped me on my journey as a documentary filmmaker is frugality. I'm a minimalist, I'm a saver, and I like to live a simple lifestyle. When I was getting my early career reps as a filmmaker out of journalism school, I chose to live back at my parents' home with them so that I could save money while pursuing the types of documentary projects I was passionate about. That flexibility gave me room to build up my documentary portfolio while improving my skills. And I've always been drawn to opportunities like that, opportunities that allow me to improve as a filmmaker, work on projects that are fun, and save money at the same time. And that's why 5 years ago, an economic model that has been around for millennia finally caught my attention. And I've been trading my video and photography services ever since. So why does bartering make sense specifically for filmmakers? Well, we have an incredibly valuable skill set that is only becoming more valuable over time. Yes, I know that sometimes it can feel like everyone thinks they're a photographer or a videographer with the phone in their pocket, but this is actually good news for us because the same technology that has enabled the democratization of image making has also led to the proliferation of social media in an era in which virtually every business and every person carefully builds their brand. More people and businesses have a website, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube than ever before. And they all want what you can provide, high quality visuals to tell their story. And people don't just want one piece of content. The speed of content churn means that all these folks are continuously looking for visuals and storytelling. The market of people who get value from our services has never been greater. And yes, you can absolutely use that fact as a reason for you to go out and sell your services for cold hard cash. But let me make the case for why you should consider bartering. First, if you are like me when I was early on in my career, you may not have the skills or portfolio or connections to get clients who will offer you a solid rate. In that case, you could choose to do projects for free on spec, but I hope you'll consider a third option, which is the barter. It is a low stakes way to build your skills while also getting something you value on the back end. And if you're like me now, a little bit further on in your career, barters are still great. First, because bartering is more than just an economic transaction. It's also a social and psychological one. The acts of trading creates a sense of connection and reciprocity between individuals, which can foster trust and strengthen bonds. 2, you might just want something that you don't want to pay cash for. And 3, because you simply might get more value per unit of your time if you barter than if you negotiated a monetary exchange. Let me make this more tangible for you by looking at what you can barter for. Well, the answer is anything. To give you some examples from my life, my first real barter was back in 2019, and I bartered for, get this, teeth cleanings at my local dentist's office. Yes, it's true. My dental insurance at the time didn't cover a particular clinic I wanted to go to, so I reached out to them and said, hey, I'll photograph your staff so that you can replace the current photos on your website in exchange for doing my teeth cleanings for this year. As you can see in this example, if I had tried to sell my services to this dental clinic at a typical day rate, they probably would have been like, no way. But through a barter, I was able to get a useful service worth like $500. And all I had to do was work on my photography skills, taking like 10 photos. I've also bartered video and photography for physical therapy appointments after I got a running injury. I've bartered for vacation getaways at oceanside Airbnbs, educational experiences, camera backpacks, home furnishings, and even a guided climb up Mount Shasta. If you'd love to have a certain kind of experience, get a service, or have a product, chances are there's a barter out there for you. But who should you reach out to? Well, you have to be strategic. For example, if you want the newest drone from DJI, you're not gonna have much luck doing a barter for your video skills because DJI is in the video space with unlimited amounts of creators dreaming of free product. They likely also have an in-house production team that can create assets for them. So what I like to do is target small businesses and individuals who have an active web and social media presence, but who likely don't have a bunch of people like me reaching out to them, and likely don't have an in-house production team either. I go to their websites, look at their current visuals, and then find gaps. Do the videos look cheap and dated? Do the photos have a coherent style and look? A lack of professionalism on the visual side of a brand can be a perfect gateway for us to approach a barter. And to share how exactly I make this approach, I'm going to share the experience of my most recent barter, one worth upwards of $5,000. I recently moved into an apartment with my love, Zoe. We each came with some furnishings, but there were also some gaps between what we owned and what furnishings we really wanted to make this place feel like home. One of those gaps was a dining table. And I thought, hey, we're starting a home together. Let's try and get a table that will stand the test of time, something beautiful, unique, and that fits who we are. So I went online and started doing some research about local companies that make custom redwood tree tables, which are Zoe and my favorite trees. That's when I stumbled upon this super cool company called Bay Area Redwood. Bay Area Redwood keeps fallen trees out of the landfill by processing the wood and making it into high quality, locally sourced wood products. I could tell right away that I would love a table like that, but I'm also not in a position right now to drop like $5,000 on a table. So I thought maybe we do a barter. Here is the exact email I wrote to them. Subject line, I went with Bay Area Redwood collaboration with National Geographic Filmmaker, something catchy. Hi Bay Area Redwood, my name is Austin Meyer and I'm a Berkeley-based freelance filmmaker, National Geographic Explorer, and my work has been featured by all these places. As a freelancer, I'm often on the lookout for companies in the Bay Area whose work I admire that might be interested in exchanging services as a way for everyone to benefit. So essentially I'm starting off with who I am, I'm legit, here's my resume a little bit, and why I do this. Specifically, as a fan of Bay Area Redwood's beautiful woodworking and being in the market for a beautiful dining table that will last the test of time, I'm wondering if you all would be open to discussing a barter. I believe I could make a really amazing video that follows the process of a custom piece coming to life from start to finish, which you would be free to use in any way you'd like. I'm also open to other ideas. So essentially approaching them with an idea for what the video could look like, because a lot of these companies might not know what they could use, might not know what a video could be like that they could feature on their website. That's our expertise, so let's come forward with an idea to start with, but also be open to that idea changing based on what they would get the most value out of. To see some of my recent barter work, here's a video I made of a real estate property in Stinson Beach, California. To see more of my work, here's my full website. So just another opportunity for them to see some of the work that they are committing to. From there, Nick, the founder of Bay Area Redwood, said he was down. We hopped on a phone call, discussed a plan, and the next week I was filming at their warehouse. Overall, I spent 2 days filming the video and another couple days on the edit. Zoe and I got to pick out a custom redwood tree slab for our table, and as of 2 weeks ago, we now have an incredible piece of art that will be with us for decades to come. And Nick has a video that I believe will bring in far more money via new business than was lost by the time and money spent making our table. In fact, that barter went so well that I also bartered for our outdoor table with a local business in town that sells outdoor furniture. Due to the scope of that barter and the value of the piece I was getting in return, I spent one afternoon filming and taking some staff photos, cranked out the edit for the homepage of their website, and we now have this beautiful table on our deck. So those are case studies looking at physical products, but let's also look at an experience, a vacation getaway at a gorgeous Airbnb. On Airbnb, what I'll do is I'll search for beautiful properties that excite me and send the host a message for any random date. Here is an example of a message that led to a successful barter. Hello, Steve. My name is Austin Meyer, and I'm an Oakland-based documentary filmmaker. A little bit of a resume so that they know it's legit. One way that I enjoy exploring is through visiting new places around the Bay Area. Specifically, I trade 2-night stays at Airbnbs in exchange for a video that I make of the property that renters can use to promote their property. Came across your rental, thought it looked beautiful. If a barter like this would ever interest you, just let me know. These dates are just a placeholder to allow me to send a message. So on Airbnb, you have to have a placeholder date. So I just send a bunch to a bunch of different houses and then hope I get some messages in response. I finally end the message with, here are 2 recent videos that I made for a couple Airbnb properties that I have done this deal with. And then I send those links so they can see examples of what they would be getting on the back end. From there, we received an email back from the Airbnb host saying we would love to meet you and have you stay in one of our places. We picked dates that worked best for everyone, and then I went with Zoe to the beach for a couple nights. In exchange, I made this video, which not only made them really happy, but has also led to more opportunities. The homeowners have offered us to stay at some of their other rental properties that they own, and now I have a real estate video in my portfolio for if I ever want to sell those services. And speaking of that, I think it's really important to touch on how Barters can help you generate professional leads. The beauty of Barters is that they will likely take you out of your area of expertise. They will allow you to meet new people, encounter new worlds, people, and businesses that you may never have encountered otherwise. And not only are you meeting these folks, but you are meeting them under the conditions of mutual trust, generosity, reciprocity. You're meeting them whilst also providing them value, showcasing what you can do. I have developed true friendships through bartering. I mean, I went to a New Year's Eve party this year at the house of someone whose Airbnb I bartered to stay at. And these kinds of relationships are what will lead to future opportunities. Opportunities you never even thought of. I had never thought about doing a real estate video until filming Airbnbs. I never thought about doing fine art videos until I made the video about the redwood table and exchanged business cards with a metal worker and fine artist getting wood for their project there. In fact, in 2022, a barter led to my first professional assignment for the North Face. Check this out. At the beginning of 2022, I decided that I wanted to climb a mountain and get crampon high altitude experience. So I messaged every single mountain guiding company on the West Coast who I could find on Instagram, including Shasta Mountain Guides. Hello, my name is Austin Meyer. I'm a National Geographic filmmaker and photographer. I'm a mountain ultra runner who is interested in going after an alpine summit this winter. I'm reaching out to various guide companies to see if you might be interested to chat about a mutually beneficial deal. Professional photography services of a trip that you could use on your social media website for free in exchange for welcoming me on the trip up the mountain. Please let me know if you're interested in chatting. Then my website. Now in this case, it just so happened that they were looking for a photographer to document their annual trip in which they bring people raising money for breast cancer prevention partners up the mountain. So we had a deal. Then just weeks before the trip, I got a note from the North Face, who was sponsoring the trek. One of their employees was going to be on the fundraising climb, and they asked me if I could photograph her in their new Breast Cancer Awareness Month line of clothes. I said, of course, negotiated a rate with them, and suddenly, out of an Instagram barter message, I was getting a guided Shasta experience while on paid assignment for the North Face. The moral of that story is that barters help you get out there, meet new people, work on your skills, and have fun experiences. And the more of that you're doing, the more times you will put yourself in positions where luck might find you, like it did for me in that case. The final thing I want to touch on today is just 3 quick best practices to make sure your barters don't go wrong. These tips will help maintain the spirit of positivity and generosity that you enter into these agreements with. Number 1 is to establish clear expectations for your barter, what you are offering and what you'll be receiving. Some people will be cool trading based on perceived value. Others will want to know the exact monetary value of your services so that they can trade an exact monetary value in return. Also talk about what's the timeline for everything. Just make sure that you're on the same page before you start. Number 2, focus on value. Every time I do a barter, I remember that this is not a passion project for me to express myself. My goal here is to bring the max amount of value to the other person. So if I'm making a video for someone's website, I'm constantly asking them throughout the process, what do you want to communicate? What shots do you want? This is for you so that you can get the most value. Number 3, use bartering as a tool, even beyond one-for-one barters. Put this in your toolkit for negotiating all sorts of professional jobs. If someone can't pay for your full rate, is there something that could be bartered to make up that difference? Something to explore. And it's all something to explore. Because bartering can help you gain skills, build a portfolio, create relationships, get amazing value, and spend less cash. All in the spirit of generosity, and who doesn't love that? If you're still here, let me know in the comments, have you ever bartered for anything? What would your dream barter be? Let's get the ideas flowing. I'll see you next week. Go out and tell some stories.